"Uncle, I know how to make your daughter walk again," said the black beggar boy to millionaire Gregory Vale, who had walked past that alley countless times. But never like this. Never with a pair of tiny wheels creaking next to his polished shoes. Never with silence, so thick it felt suffocating. His 8-year-old daughter Naomi sat quietly in her wheelchair, her legs still, wrapped in a knitted blue blanket. Her blonde hair fell across her cheeks, her eyes lowered to the pavement as if she had given up on waiting for miracles. Gregory hadn't given up either. Not really, but hope had turned into a cruel word in his life. Since the accident 2 years ago, every doctor, therapist, and miracle worker had taken his money, leaving him with the same verdict: permanent spinal damage. They may live a long life, they would say gently, but she'll never walk again. His wealth could move mountains, but not nerves. That's when he heard the voice. "Uncle," the boy said from the alley corner, "I know how to make your daughter walk again." Gregory halted, his hand still resting on Naomi's wheelchair handle. He turned slowly, anticipating a scam artist or something worse. But instead, he saw a barefoot child. The boy appeared no older than Naomi. He was skinny, dark-skinned, barefoot, and bundled in a coat too big for him. His hands were caked with dirt, and one eye was slightly bruised. Yet his voice was steady. "What did you say?" Gregory asked. "I said I can help your daughter." The boy repeated. Gregory frowned. "Is this some kind of game? Who put you up to this?" "No one," the boy replied. "My name's Eli. I live behind the train station. I saw you pushing her here yesterday. I waited here today because I knew you'd come." Gregory squinted. "You've been watching us?" "Yes, but not in a creepy way. I see lots of people pass by, but she looked sad, like she used to run but her legs forgot." Naomi's head turned slightly. That was more than anyone had said about her since last week. "I've taken her to the best hospitals in the world," Gregory said firmly. "Neurologists, surgeons, even holistic charlatans who claim they can move energy with their fingers. There's nothing you can do. But you haven't taken her to my grandmother." Eli replied. "She helped me when no one else would." "You're 8, Gregory said. "I'm 9 next month." He almost laughed, but Eli stepped closer. "She doesn't take money, only trust. And she never asks anyone to believe, only to try." Naomi looked up at her father. "Please, can we go?" Gregory hesitated. The words "no" and "absolutely not" spun in his head. But so did Naomi's voice. The way it had cracked weeks ago when she whispered, "I hate being this way." He knelt beside her. "If anything feels wrong, we leave." "Got it." She nodded. Eli smiled, turned, and walked. They followed. The path behind the city was unfamiliar. Tangles of weeds, rusted fences, graffiti on broken brick walls. Naomi winced each time her wheelchair bumped. Gregory nearly turned back twice, but Eli kept glancing over his shoulder, reassuring with a calmness beyond his years. They reached the edge of a wooded trail that didn't look like it led anywhere. "Through here," Eli said. Gregory sighed. "You do know that if anything happens to my daughter, she'll be fine." Eli interrupted. "She'll be more than fine." At the end of the trail stood a small cabin made of worn timber and moss. It looked as if it belonged in a fairy tale. An old woman stepped onto the porch, her long silver hair braided with tiny pieces of bark and thread. Her eyes were green, striking and ageless. "I was wondering when you'd bring them," she said to Eli. Eli nodded. He didn't believe, but she did. Naomi smiled faintly. The woman knelt before her. "Child, may I touch your knees?" Naomi looked at her father, who hesitated before nodding. The woman placed her hands gently over Naomi's legs. Her eyes fluttered closed as she began to hum a sound soft and low, like wind through trees. Naomi flinched. "I felt that," she whispered. Gregory stepped forward. "Felt what?" "A tingle in my toes," Naomi said. The woman opened her eyes. "Her spine is not dead. It's just frozen, locked in grief. The body obeys the heart more than the brain. That's not medical science." Gregory mumbled. "No." The woman acknowledged. But science doesn't hold your daughter's tears every night. Silence. Eli interjected, stepping forward. Can she try standing? The woman looked at Naomi. Only if she wants to. Naomi nodded. The woman moved the wheelchair back and assisted her to her feet. Naomi's legs trembled. Gregory stepped forward in panic, but the woman held up a hand. Naomi's right foot moved, then her left. She stood, wobbly like a deer, but she stood. Gregory fell to his knees. Naomi turned to him, smiling through tears. Daddy, I'm standing. Gregory couldn't breathe. He crawled to her feet, holding her tightly, afraid she'd fall or worse, vanish. Eli stood, back quietly. Gregory turned to him, stunned. Who are you? Eli shrugged. Just a boy who believed someone could be whole again. Gregory reached into his pocket. I'll pay you anything. Name your price. Eli shook his head. I don't need money. I just needed someone to listen. As the sun peeked through the clouds, Naomi took 3 steps toward her father and the world she thought she had lost. Naomi took one more shaky step forward. Gregory watched, stunned, his hands half raised in the air, unsure whether to catch her or let her walk. She was trembling and tears flowed freely down her cheeks. But there was no denying she was walking. She took a second step, then a third, and then fell. Gregory lunged, catching her gently before she hit the ground. I've got you, he whispered, his voice cracking. I've got you. Naomi clung to him, sobbing. I felt my legs. Daddy, I really felt them. You did. Sweetheart, he said. You did. The old woman stood silently behind them, her hands folded in front of her, as if she had witnessed this many times before. There was no showmanship, no applause, just peace. Eli crouched nearby, not smiling, not celebrating, just watching. Gregory turned him again, this time kneeling down to his level. I need to know, he said. How did you know? How did you do that? Eli looked down at the dirt. I didn't. I just remembered. Remembered what? My grandma. She wasn't a doctor, but she understood people, the way they breathe, how they break. She said, not all pain is in bones. Some of it lives in silence. Some hides where x-rays can't see. Gregory stared, moved beyond words. Eli shifted. I used to walk funny. My foot was bent since birth, and kids laughed. My mom left when I was 4. Grandma was all I had. One day she just said it was time. She placed her hand on my foot, whispered things in a language I don't know, and told me to stand. I did. I never fell again. Naomi blinked at him. She healed you. She reminded me I wasn't broken. Eli replied. Gregory nodded slowly. Where is she now? Eli's eyes fell. Gone a year ago. I tried to go into the system, but I ran. They said she was a fraud, that I was making it all up. So I started helping people myself, only those who asked, the ones who truly believed. He wiped his nose with his sleeve. Sometimes I fail, but sometimes I don't. Gregory stood and faced the old woman. Who are you? She smiled. Just someone who listens. Eli does the rest. But this is something else. This is the part of humanity most people forget, that healing doesn't always require pills, wires, or surgeries. Sometimes it just needs presence. Gregory looked at Naomi, who was now on her feet again, holding the back of the wheelchair, testing her balance. Her fingers trembled, but her eyes were aglow with something fierce. Hope. I want to take you with us. Gregory said to Eli, we have doctors, specialists, therapists. I can set you up, give you a future. But Eli gently shook his head. My place is here, on the street, in the forgotten corners. That's where the hurt lives. That's where people like me are needed. Gregory hesitated. What if I want to help you? You already did. You listened. Most don't. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a card. It was creased and damp from the rain, but still legible. If you ever need me, Gregory said,